What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Ben Thomas Show. Thanks for coming back, guys, by request. Today we're going to talk about the Exo-6 #1 figure, of course, from Star Trek Discovery, as well as the Deep Space Nine Garak figure. Now, I almost didn't make a video on either of these because I don't want to come off as negative. I know some of you guys out there are excited, but I definitely have some criticisms to share. So if you guys like the video, hit the like button, smash the subscribe if you're new to the Ben Thomas Show. Live long and prosper, of course. And let's get into it. YouTube, the final frontier. These are the episodes of the Ben Thomas Show. My continuing mission to explore strange new Star Trek reviews, to seek out new Star Trek collectors and new badass collectibles, and to boldly go where no Trek collector has gone before. Okay guys, so let's first talk about this Garak character, of course, from Deep Space Nine. If you're a huge Deep Space Nine fan, this may be up your alley. I honestly think for the most part Exo-6 does aliens pretty well, especially with regards to their likeness and some of the detailing that's required, right? To Exo-6's credit here, before I deep dive this figure a little bit, some of what they need to do in order to actually produce a Cardassian proper in 6 scale is still impressive, especially when you think about the fact that this doesn't have like a human style neck, right? Like the Cardassians always have this crazy neck kind of thing going on, and they've been able to produce that here in the figure. So I do think there is some credit where credit is due with regards to this. Now, this figure, when I first looked at it, I went, I know who that's supposed to be, but they didn't nail it. I honestly don't see it. I see some Neelix in here, if I'm being honest, in terms of the face. When I compare photos next to screenshots of Garak, again, there is quite a few differences, especially with regards to some of the texture work around his face, right? These types of like crazy ridges are so much more pronounced in the character. I think that they could have dialed that up to 11 in terms of the figure, and that would have been a more impactful look for him. They didn't quite get the face shape right either. The hairline for me is just not far back enough, if I'm being honest. They've been a little generous with his hairline in the figure format, and I would say this is not my favorite look in terms of the costume for Garak. Now I get it, it's a Deep Space Nine representation. They're trying to bring some color to our display, so I do think that that's cool, and I would imagine that a Cardassian military uniform would likely be more expensive to produce. So while I don't love the look, I understand maybe why they've done it, and I don't think that the outfit is necessarily bad. I have had some difficulty finding some great reference photos of the color palette here of the outfit. It looks more muted in the show from the screenshots that I've been able to find. Not quite as colorful, but let me know which episode I can reference, maybe guys in the comments, that would show me this exact outfit in this exact color formation, if able, so that I could do a better deep dive for you guys in terms of the color. But overall, for me, this was one that I almost didn't make a video about because when I first looked at it, I just didn't like it. And I don't want to wreck anybody's excitement, right? Some of you guys might think this is fantastic. The other door that it opens up is, who doesn't want a Gul Dukat in their collection, right? And maybe if Garak sells well for Exo-6, they'll still consider giving us Dukat, which for me is my more favorite Cardassian, if I'm being honest. But I think both of them in the display could be good. And when you're not comparing Exo-6 photos directly to screenshots of the show, I also do think that the likeness does improve. I don't think that this is bad. This is no Wesley Crusher for me, but it's not a buy, and the pre-order date is already come and gone, so I apologize for the late video on this, because again, I almost just didn't make it at all. The pre-order date was August 18th of 2025 ending. Now, likely you can still get this maybe on Sideshow or some other distributors out there. Through Exo-6's website, this came in at $215 plus the $25 ship rate. On the website itself, it seems like this is the second time they haven't shown us a slide that shows all of the accessories. So in the description, it says that it does come with a Cardassian face phaser, which I do appreciate, something a little different in the display there, as well as the base and a couple of hands and stuff like that. So pretty standard overall. I don't think that the price is bad for this. I think the price is in line, especially considering they had to sort out how they were going to do the neck. It's a non-human sculpt, so again, a little bit more work there was required. And while I didn't see the likeness when I first looked at it, again, I still know who this is supposed to be. I don't think it's terrible. It's not egregious. And if I'm going to buy an Exo-6 figure of a Cardassian, I would rather go with a Ducat. So hopefully we'll still see him made down the line. But let me know what you guys think of this figure. Was this one that you were like, oh, no, not for me. Ooh, that's ugly. Or were you like, ah, you know what? I kind of like it. I think it's not too bad. Maybe I'm going to put this in the display. I think in terms of the colorful outfit, it will pop in a Star Trek display. And I still think that the Deep Space Nine is one of the better lines from Exo-6 so far. They've kind of gone into it a little bit, right? We've seen a couple of different Ciscos now. We've seen Bashir. We've seen a couple of great options. And again, I think the aliens from Exo-6 are typically done better than the human character. So let's jump over here to the Una Chin Riley, of course, the #1 character, Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Now, for me, honestly, I hate to say it, I hate that they call her #1. For me, that's always going to live with Commander Riker in Star Trek Next Generation. I feel like it almost insults it. And maybe there's some story out there that exists that this was always the case and I'm just not familiar with it. But to me, #1 was what Picard calls a Riker. I don't like that they've basically insinuated that Picard kind of just stole that from his predecessor. I think that that's kind of weird. I never liked that. So let's call her #1 for the sake of it, because that's what she is. She's the commanding officer on the Strange New Worlds show, and I like the actress. When I first saw this sculpt pop up, my first thought was, man, are these photos terrible? What has happened? Exo-6, you gotta stop showing us these like this. Control your messaging a little bit better. You know, I watched Nanjin talk about Star Trek on 6 Scale Mafia show a couple weeks ago, and for me, I liked the interview. It's a great interview. If you missed it, go and check out 6 Scale Mafia. I do think that there were some great questions answered. Now, we know that 6 Scale Mafia does work in combination with Exo-6 to a certain extent, so it may not have had as much criticism involved in there as we may, as collectors, would have liked to hear, like, you know, press on them a little bit more. But I do see that, you know, the developer has the love for Star Trek, and I think that bodes well. I think that there are points there, you know, like, he clearly likes making these, and he really feels, in terms of Nanjin, that he's the only one that would even ever tackle Star Trek as a line. I don't know if I agree with that, if I'm being honest, but who knows? Maybe that's the case. Is this the best we're ever going to get of all of these lines? As of right now, yes. I mean, no other company is going to make a Garak. Who is going to make Chin Riley, right? I mean, really, honestly, who is going to do this character going forward? I don't even know if this show is popular enough for most people to want to collect from it. And I haven't hated the show. You know, like, it's okay. You know, it's mid. It gets like a 5 out of 10 for me. I'll watch it in passing, but I'm not stoked for the next episode. And I actually think the likeness on this particular figure is better than Garak. I think the likeness here, it looks more like the actress in the face and the hair sculpting. The photos are freaking terrible, but I see her there. What I actually think is the criticism on this particular figure is the actual outfit. I think the color is just subtly off, and the tailoring feels really baggy and just not in line necessarily with how tailored the uniforms look in the show. Now, I had a couple reference photos of her in the show. Most of the reference photos, she actually has longer hair down the front. I like that they've given us the ponytail look just for a little bit more dynamic posability, so I think that is a win for this figure. This came in at $215, plus again the $25 ship rate, which seems like that's kind of the standard price for Exo-6 now. I don't think it's offensive. Honestly, I think it's an okay price. I think if you want this character, it's a decent price point to entry. The pre-order end date for this one is September 1st, 2025, so if it is something you're interested in getting, you can still go to the Exo-6 website directly, or of course through other distributors. I typically get most of mine through Sideshow, but it is a longer wait time through Sideshow, so just keep that in mind. It says here in the description, because once again they didn't show a photo of all of what's included here, which again is a weird exclusion. I don't stop doing that aspect of it, if anything. It says here that the figure includes an era authentic accessories, so a phaser that's ready for combat, a communicator for hailing the ship, a tricorder for scanning alien terrain, a pad brimming with Starfleet protocols, a sleek display base, engineered for dynamic posing. Man. The descriptions of these kill me. They do. I love it. You know what? Like, all the power to them. They want to celebrate their figures, and I think that that's okay. You know, I don't want to be this critical person, of Star Trek, because I freaking love Star Trek. But I will also say that you got to call it out when they're not the greatest, and I think this figure would actually be more appealing if the photography was better. I even think the Garak figure might be more appealing if the photography was better. You know, stop putting these on those Star Trek backgrounds. I like the idea. In concept, I think it's cool. But I actually think those backgrounds take away from the figures. Start putting them on gray backgrounds where we can actually see a much more clear photo of it. I mean, going back to even the Garak figure, there's a photo of him like staring at the ground, but to me, it almost feels like they're trying to hide the imperfections with their photos, not highlight how good they are. You know, Nanjin said he wants a museum quality look in the display, and some of our figures are absolutely a museum-esque representation of our favorite Star Trek people, but some of them aren't. And to call them all museum quality, I think is crap, but I also think that the photos do not do these figures justice. Every time I see collectors with these figures getting them in hand, how come your photo on your iPhone camera is better than the promotional shots? Like, that should just not happen. It shouldn't. And we are critical of Hot Toys blogger photos, but Hot Toys blogger photos are night and day better than any of what I've seen on this video today. So guys, I would love to hear from you in the comments down below. I'm going to keep it short today, but I wanted to highlight the fact that yes, I did see both of these characters come up. No, I don't like Garak, and I'm definitely not going to buy Commander Una Chin Riley. It's just not the show that I want to collect from. I'm all Star Trek Next Generation, except for Wesley Crusher. But I would love to hear from you guys. You're Star Trek fans out there as well. Are you guys picking these up? Did you get in on Garak? Are you hoping for a Dukat? Are you excited for Strange New Worlds? What are you thinking of the show as well? Is it a show that you feel is higher than a 5 out of 10 like I gave it? Some episodes are great. Some I freaking hated and felt like I needed to go outside afterwards and get some fresh air. So guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment down below. But if you liked the video, hit the like button, smash the subscribe if you're new to the Ben Thomas Show. Live long and prosper, of course. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Wow, what a great audience. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Because subscribing makes you feel good.
Where should I go? What should I do?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
It's gone. It's all gone.